Hereby call to order the August 6, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the city of Smithville. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon and Civil Statute Article 6252-17, that the city of Smithville will conduct a planning and zoning meeting on August 6th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers located at 317 Main Street, Smithville, Texas. First item on the agenda is discussion and action on approval of minutes from the July 2nd, 2024 meeting. Did everybody get a chance to review those? Any questions or concerns with those minutes? Accept the motion.
I had no problem with the minutes, so I would make a motion to approve them as submitted.
I've got a motion and a second to approve those as submitted. All in favor? Aye. That passes. Item 3, discussion and action on a minor replat combining two lots into one at 407 Wilkes Street, Burn Addition or Burn Block 106, Lot 6 and 7, property ID 56450. Property owners Centro Cristiano Alpha E Omega. Agent Gilbert Soto Jr. Do we have anybody signed up to speak on this? Does anybody up here have any questions on the replat of combining two lots into one?
I don't have any. No, are we going to hear the?
Well, we'll just take
Okay.
the
No, I don't
the
have any
first
questions
item
about
is
that.
to discuss the two lots into one. Any concerns, questions, comments?
No, sir.
If nobody has any questions or comments about that, I'll accept a motion for that agenda item.
I move we recommend for approval the minor replat combining two lots into one at 407 Wilkes Street, Burn Block 106, Lots 6 and 7, property ID 56450. Property owner Centero Cristiano Alpha E Omega, Agent Gilberto Soto. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Gilberto. Sorry.
I have a motion.
I'll second the motion.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Item 4, discussion and action on a rear yard setback variance of 15 foot instead of 30 foot for 407 Wilkes Street, Burn, Block 6, Lot 67, property ID 56450, property owner Centro Cristo Alpha E Omega, Agent Gilbert Soto Jr. Do we have anybody signed up for this agenda item? I'm sure there's some questions on this one. Is Mr. Soto here to be able to answer any questions we have? If you don't mind, if you could come up to the podium for the record, announce your name, and then we'll allow the council here, the commission to ask any questions they may have. Just 1 second real quick. I did not, and they reminded me, I did not introduce the commission members here. So my name is Garrett Gutierrez. I'm the chairman of the commission, and I'll start on my right, your left, and let them introduce themselves.
Lee Kilgore.
Caroline Noya.
Nancy Catherman.
Philip Slaughter.
Thank you for allowing us to take the time to do that. I missed that. So go ahead and start with any questions you may have to.
Absolutely.
Do you have something to present that you want to present, or do you just want us to go into questions? Or
I believe I submitted to you all just a mock-up, if you will, of what our current plans for building. We have a church that was built initially in 1930, I believe is how old that sanctuary is. And after many years of tender loving care, we feel it's time for us to go ahead and replace it. So what you have before you is just a mock-up of just the overall perimeter that we want to build upon, a 70-foot by 50-foot building. At this time, I actually would like, or we would actually like to, I guess, cancel or stop the request for the the variance or the setback variance simply because we do have space to work with at this moment. In the future, we do plan on adding to this building towards the back. I guess we could address it at that point. But for now, you all approved the replat, which was, what we really needed to go forward. And at this point, what you see before you is our plan that we're making to replace the existing building with.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, on the new building, is it going to be 1-story or 2-story?
1 story,
Okay.
yes.
And so how far is the space from the property line on the inside to the building? How many feet is that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How many feet is it from the fence line to the new building? where it ends?
Between you and the playground of the.
Between us and the playground.
Playground.
I do not know. What you see here, this rectangle is basically laid over the current building. So, I'm actually not aware of what the actual distance from that line, is at this point.
Okay, so if you're wanting to not build within that 15-foot, I'm not sure how the city handles that on the canceling of that request. But I don't see why that it wouldn't be allowed. And then for us, there's really nothing that we can take action on if you want to remove that. But there's a couple of things that I'd like to make you aware of that way going into it.
Mhm.
One being, if that building is, and I'll have to go, I could go look, or we could dig it up and look and talk about it even offline, but if that building is going to be not have the setback it needs between the playground or whatever that's required by the community facilities, and I can't remember what that is on the inside of the lot. I know it's, what is it, 25 in the front and something 30 in the back or something like that, but I can't remember what the sides are. But if it is, just know that you may have to request either a variance for that or change the way that you build it, right? So keep that in mind. And then building a new building takes away the old grandfathered church that was there. You would be required to have off-street parking, and that's one space, I believe, for every 4 seats that you have. So keep that in mind too, as well as you move forward with your project. And other than that, I just don't know if there's anything else, unless somebody else has anything they want to let them know about. But yeah, it's kind of just the ordinances that are out there, just making you aware of them, and y'all can proceed however y'all need to try to do that. And of course, you can always run into something. You can always come back and ask for another variance, right?
Absolutely.
So, but as far as that goes, we won't have a recommendation for council on that because that agenda item's getting canceled. So other than that, I think we're
Do
done
you
with
know-
everything that you may
Yeah.
need, unless you have a question for us.
I have no questions.
Okay.
Do you happen to know approximately how many seats you might be having in the new sanctuary? Have you thought about that yet?
Oh, yes, of course. Currently we're at probably 90, 95. We would like to be at 150 to 175.
That'd be something to just keep in mind in the future with the parking concern and all that. So, with the requirements that are in the
Current,
ordinances of the city. So just keep that in mind when you're doing that, and just making you aware of it.
sure. I do have a question then with regards to parking. Currently, and you said that we're grandfathered into, I guess, older guidelines when it comes to parking. But the front of the building, if you're looking at the drawing there, is actually 25 feet from the line there. And so currently we're parking, along the front of the property on the easement. And we go around the front on Wilkes and along Fifth as well. Does that, do we use that area as parking, or are you saying that
It would have to be off-street parking, and
Off-street.
I think it requires it to be well, each space would need to be 8 by 20 if we held to what's in here and what's written today. And I believe, and I'm trying to read it here while I got it, that it needs to be either paved or concrete of some kind, or I don't know if gravel counts, Jack, or not, but
Can't have dust.
dust, okay.
You have chip seal, you have pavement, you can have, concrete, you can have whatever, and like you're saying in the front, if I may, in the front, I mean, where y'all parking now, I mean, you might need to go just a little bit farther up, but you have plenty of room for off-street parking in the front, like you're parking now. You might be farther out on the easement right now, but it's nothing saying that you can't go farther in.
I see.
So all along Wilkes and all along Fifth, you could have parking and also in the rear.
The rear, yeah.
You could have parking in the rear too. So you have pretty adequate space for parking, I feel.
Okay.
No, it just all has to be looked at, and don't want you to not consider that or take that in, because it is in the ordinance that we have it, and just making you aware of it, and then y'all figure out how y'all need to make it work for y'all's needs.
Because between 150 or 175, you'd need 38 to 44 parking
Yep.
spaces. So
Just down my quick math, just down that one side, you could put 15 down the Fifth Street side. So, and then you'd have parking across the front, and then you have parking across the rear too. That's inside your property line. So, and then after that, if you got overflow, I guess they park in the streets, but that's part of it. But like I said, just making you aware of it. That way, going into it and kind of putting it out there, and then y'all do what y'all need to do from y'all's end, or ask for variances as those come up. But as
Absolutely.
far as that goes, we won't have a recommendation if you want to make a note for that. And I don't know if the proper procedure is for doing that, or just say, hey, we don't have a recommendation. We're not going to make a vote on it. So that's it, unless you have some other questions for us or concerns.
No further questions from me.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
We'll need a motion while we, the minor plan combining the two lots.
We already did
we
that.
did. You
We
said-
just
I
did.
didn't- You seconded.
You seconded
it.
It's been a long day. It's all good. All right. So that being said, that concludes our last agenda item for the evening, I believe.
I move we adjourn.
That is our last.
Can I-
So I'll take a motion to adjourn. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. That concludes our meeting. Thank y'all for joining us, and